In the depths of the ocean, where sunlight danced upon the waves and shadows whispered secrets, a fierce battle raged between two kingdoms, the Aquiferian realm of Coralista and the ruthless kingdom of Thaler. The water churned violently, swirling with the dark colors of the deep, as swords clashed and agonized cries echoed through the underwater caverns. Merfolk fought valiantly, their iridescent scales glistening like jewels amidst the chaos. But above all the tumult, a single figure stood resolute, Queen whose heart beat for her people and her newborn daughter. Queen Arya of Coralista, her long, flowing hair a cascade of sapphire blue, held her infant daughter tightly against her chest. Talia, the child of prophecy, was destined to unite the kingdoms. But at this moment, Arya's only thought was survival. As the battle raged, she knew she could not stay. With tears welling in her striking aquamarine eyes, she cast a spell, imbuing her daughter with the gift of humanity. In an instant, Talia's mermaid tail transformed into delicate human legs. Arya gently placed her daughter in a soft seaweed cradle nestled among the coral, hidden from prying eyes, as she turned to face the oncoming storm. "Forgive me, my sweet Talia," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I must protect you from this world of darkness." With one last lingering glance, she swam back into the fray, determined to safeguard her kingdom. Meanwhile, on the surface, in a small coastal village called Silverstream, a childless widow named Lira toiled away at her modest farm. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the land. And as she returned from gathering vegetables, she heard a soft, heart-wrenching cry, a sound that tugged at the very strings of her heart. Lira, a woman with kind, weathered hands and a heart full of dreams unfulfilled, followed the sound to the edge of the forest. There, cradled in a lush green bush, she found a beautiful baby girl, her skin aglow like pearls under the fading light. The child's blue eyes sparkled with innocence, and a streak of shimmering blue hair framed her delicate face. Lira gasped at the sight. She had never seen a child like this before. Instinctively, her heart swelled with a protective urge. "Oh, little one, where did you come from?" she murmured, picking the baby up and cradling her in her arms. Without hesitation, she brought the child home, her mind racing with questions and possibilities. What did it mean to find such a child? Could this be a sign of hope? Inside her modest cottage, Lira prepared a makeshift bed for her newfound daughter. She had long awaited the day she would hear the laughter of a child echoing in her home, and this baby brought a flicker of joy to her lonely existence. She named the girl Lira, a name that seemed to embody the beauty and mystery surrounding her. The next morning, as she washed Lira in a bowl of warm water, the unexpected happened. Lira's legs transformed into a shimmering fish tail. Lira gasped and instinctively pulled back, her heart pounding with shock. But as she gazed into the child's mesmerizing blue eyes, she felt a swell of love overpower her fear. "You are unlike any child," she whispered, enveloping Lira in her arms again. "I will protect you, my dear." As the years passed, Lira grew into a radiant girl with a spirit as wild as the ocean. Lira loved her fiercely, nurturing her dreams and ambitions. Yet there were moments of unspoken tension between them. Lira often sensed her difference, the way her legs would sometimes ripple with a flicker of a tail, particularly during storms. Whenever rain fell, Lira would yearn to dance in the puddles, but Lira would pull her back, warning her, "We must keep you safe, my darling. The world can be cruel to those who are different." Though Lira's intentions were born from love, they inadvertently instilled a sense of isolation in Lira, Children in the village would often whisper and pull their own friends away when Lira approached. They didn't understand her, and their fear turned to disdain, a reflection of the broader societal prejudices that ran deep in Silverstream. Yet Lira remained hopeful, believing one day she would prove herself worthy, that her differences could be celebrated rather than condemned. On Lira's 16th birthday, a storm brewed on the horizon, dark clouds swirling above like a tempest of emotions. Lira stood at the edge of the forest, rain pouring down as if the heavens wept with her. In that moment of longing, she stepped outside, the rain drenching her hair, transforming it into a cascade of shimmering blue. As she twirled in delight, her legs morphed into a magnificent tail, and she felt an awakening within her, a connection to the water that surged beneath the stormy surface. Suddenly, the rain began to respond to her movements. Lira danced with abandon, her heart swelling with joy as the water whipped and twirled around her. But her exhilaration was short-lived. From the shadows, Mira watched in horror, her heart pounding as she rushed to her daughter's side, pulling her back from the tempestuous waters. "Lira, no, you mustn't let anyone see you like this," she cried out, fear lacing her voice. "They will think you are a witch." Lira's heart sank, the joy she felt dissolving into a cocktail of anger and hurt. "Why can't you let me be who I am? I want to embrace this part of me," she shouted, the rain intensifying around them as her emotions swelled. Mira shook her head, desperate to protect her daughter from the ignorance of the village. "You don't understand, Lira. They won't accept you. They will try to harm you." But Lira was resolute. She felt powerful, alive in a way she never had before. "I refuse to hide anymore," she declared, her voice steady despite the raging storm. With that, she turned and raced towards the stream at the village's edge, determined to explore her powers in secret. As soon as Mira left for the market the next day, Lira slipped away, her heart pounding with both fear and exhilaration. At the stream, with no one around, Lira danced and twirled, her fingers slicing through the water, commanding it to rise in glistening arcs. Each movement brought forth the thrill of magic, a connection to something far greater than herself. Day after day, she practiced, growing more confident in her abilities, unaware that the villagers were watching her closely. One fateful afternoon, a group of villagers, led by a superstitious elder, discovered her in the act. "There she is," the elder shouted, pointing a trembling finger towards Lira. "The witch who controls the water. Seize her." Panic surged through Lyra's veins as she turned to flee, but the villagers closed in around her. "Help! Please don't hurt me," she cried out, but their faces were set with grim determination. In that moment, her heart raced as her life hung in the balance. Mira, who had been gathering herbs nearby, heard the commotion and rushed towards the stream, her heart pounding with dread. As she arrived, she was met with a horrifying sight. Lira, surrounded by angry villagers, was being dragged towards the water's edge. "Stop! Don't hurt her!" Mira screamed, rushing forward. "She's my daughter. She's not a witch." But the villagers were relentless. "Your daughter is dangerous. We can't allow her to roam free. She must be punished," they shouted, their voices rising above the chaos. Mira felt her heart shatter as she fought against the tide of anger. She knew she must protect Lira at all costs. "Please, she's just a girl. She's different, yes, but that doesn't make her a witch." Just then, the water surged, rising up in a swirling whirlpool. The villagers gasped in terror, stumbling back as a figure emerged from the depths, a stunning woman with hair as vibrant as the ocean and eyes that shimmered like stars. It was Seraphina, the Sea Queen, the rightful ruler of the underwater kingdom. "What is the meaning of this disturbance?" she demanded, her voice like thunder. Lira looked up in disbelief, her heart racing as she recognized the powerful being before her. I didn't mean to cause trouble," she stammered, feeling the weight of the world upon her shoulders. "Your daughter is not a witch," Seraphina declared, her gaze piercing through the crowd. "She is a daughter of the sea, born of magic and destined for greatness. You have no right to harm her." With a wave of her hand, the waters calmed, and the villagers found themselves immobilized by an unseen force. Lyra's heart soared with hope as she met Seraphina's gaze. "What does this mean for me?" she asked, her voice trembling. "You have the potential to bridge the worlds between the sea and the land," Seraphina replied. "Your gifts are not a curse. They are a blessing, but you must choose to embrace your true self. Come with me, Lira, and claim your place among your people." The villagers, still under the queen's influence, stared in shock and fear. "No!" Mira cried, her heart torn as she faced the prospect of losing her daughter. "You can't take her away from me. She belongs here." Lira turned to her mother, her heart heavy. "But I want to learn who I truly am. I can't hide anymore, Mother. I need to explore my powers, my heritage." Myra's eyes brimmed with tears, knowing she couldn't cage Lyra's spirit. "If this is what you truly want, my darling, then go," she whispered, her voice choked with sorrow. "But always remember, you will always be my daughter, no matter where you go." With a heavy heart, Lyra stepped toward Seraphina, a part of her longing to stay with Mira, while another part yearned to discover her identity. "I will return, I promise," she vowed, her voice firm. Seraphina extended her hand, and Lira took it, feeling an electric connection surge through her. The waters parted, and together they dove into the depths of the ocean, leaving behind the village and the mother who had loved her fiercely. As they descended into the vibrant underwater kingdom, Lira felt a sense of belonging wash over her. Schools of colorful fish darted by, and coral reefs bloomed in a riot of colors. Seraphina led her to the heart of Coralista, where merfolk greeted them with reverence and awe. "Welcome, daughter of the sea," Seraphina proclaimed. "Here, you will learn to harness your powers and embrace your destiny." Lyra's heart swelled with a sense of purpose as she began her training. Under Seraphina's guidance, she learned to control the elements, manipulating the water with grace and power. She discovered the depths of her heritage, the ancient magic that flowed through her veins, the connection to the ocean that ran deeper than she had ever imagined. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, Lira also felt the pang of longing for Mira. She missed the warmth of her mother's embrace, the laughter they shared, and the simple joys of life on land. Though she was learning to embrace her identity, the weight of her choice hung heavy in her heart. One stormy night, as she practiced her magic, Lira felt a surge of energy course through her. The waters responded to her emotions, creating a tempest that mirrored her inner turmoil. "What have I done?" she whispered to herself. "I've left my mother, and for what?" Just then, Seraphina appeared beside her, sensing her distress. "You are torn between two worlds, Lira," she said softly. "It's natural to feel conflicted, but know this, you have the power to bridge them. Your destiny is not solely here or there. It is a combination of both." Lira looked at Seraphina, her heart aching. "But what if I never see my mother again? What if she is alone and afraid?" "You can return to her," Seraphina assured her. You hold the power of the ocean within you. With it, you can travel between both realms. But you must learn to balance your identity, to accept both parts of yourself. With renewed determination, Lira began to practice her powers, learning to navigate the waters while keeping the bond with her mother alive in her heart. The ocean became her home, yet the memories of Silverstream lingered like a distant song. After several moons, Lira felt ready. She summoned her powers, creating a shimmering portal that glowed with the essence of the sea. I will return to Mira, she declared, her voice filled with conviction. With a deep breath, she stepped through the portal, her heart racing with excitement and fear. As she emerged in Silverstream, the village looked unchanged, yet the air felt charged with possibilities. She rushed towards her cottage, the familiar sights and sounds enveloping her like a warm embrace. Mira was tending to her garden when Lira called out, her voice breaking with emotion. Mother, Mira turned, her eyes widening in disbelief and joy. Lira, is it really you? They rushed into each other's arms, tears streaming down their faces as they embraced, the bond of love stronger than ever. I've missed you so much, Mira cried, holding Lira tightly. I was so afraid you had vanished forever. I am here, Mother. I've learned so much, Lira replied, her heart brimming with love. I can come and go between both worlds. I've come to bridge our worlds and bring peace. Myra's heart swelled with pride, yet she could see the changes in her daughter. You've grown into a powerful young woman, my dear, she said, wiping away her tears. But how can you bring peace when they fear what they don't understand? Lira took a deep breath, determination shining in her eyes. I will show them who I am. I will help them see that being different is a strength, not a weakness. Together, we can heal the rift between our worlds. With her mother's support, Lira returned to the village square, gathering the villagers to share her journey. She spoke passionately about the ocean, the magic within her, and her desire to unite their worlds. At first, the villagers were hesitant, fear flickering in their eyes. But as she demonstrated her abilities, controlling the water and creating beautiful patterns, their skepticism began to fade. See, Lira exclaimed, her voice filled with hope. I am not a witch. I am your neighbor, your friend. We can learn from each other, celebrate our differences, and build a bridge of understanding. As Lira continued to speak, something shifted within the villagers. They began to see not just her magic, but the heart behind it, the love for her mother, and the desire to create unity. Slowly, whispers of acceptance began to ripple through the crowd. Days turned into weeks, and Lira worked tirelessly to foster connections between the village and the ocean. She brought children to the shore to learn about the sea, introducing them to the wonders of marine life and the beauty of her heritage. Mira stood proudly by her side, witnessing the transformation in their village. But peace did not come without its challenges. Some villagers remained resistant, clinging to their fears and prejudices. They viewed Lira's abilities as a threat, believing that the ocean would bring misfortune. We don't want your magic, they shouted, but Lira stood firm, her heart resolute. One stormy night, tensions reached a breaking point. A powerful tempest surged through Silverstream, lightning crackling overhead. The villagers panicked, believing it to be a punishment from the sea. As they gathered in the village square, Lira knew she had to act. Please let me help, she called out, her voice barely rising above the howling wind. I can calm the storm. I understand the ocean. I am a part of it. But fear clouded their judgment, and they turned against her. branding her a witch once more. "Stay away from us. You will bring destruction," they cried, their fear morphing into anger. In that moment, Lira felt the weight of her choice, the burden of the world she sought to unite. But she also felt a surge of strength within her, the knowledge that she belonged to both land and sea. "I will not let fear dictate my fate," she declared, raising her arms towards the tempest. "I call upon the waters to calm and listen to my heart." As the storm raged around her, Lira poured her energy into the elements, and the winds began to shift. The water responded to her call, swirling gracefully as she danced through the chaos, commanding the very essence of the storm. The villagers gasped, witnessing the raw power she wielded, the beauty in her connection with the ocean. "See," she shouted, her voice resonating through the storm. "I am not your enemy. I am your ally. Together, we can coexist, learn, and grow. The ocean is not our foe. It is our friend." With one final surge of energy, the storm calmed and the skies cleared. The villagers stood in awe, their fear slowly transforming into wonder. They realized that Lira was not just a child of the sea. She was a bridge between two worlds, a unifying force that could bring them together. As the village began to heal, Lira felt a sense of purpose blossoming within her. She knew she could be the catalyst for change, a beacon of hope in a world that desperately needed it. With her mother by her side, she dedicated herself to fostering understanding and acceptance. Years passed, and the village of Silverstream transformed into a thriving community, embracing both the magic of the ocean and the beauty of their differences. Lira continued to bridge the gap between land and sea, teaching the villagers the wonders of the ocean while honoring her heritage. In time, the villagers came to celebrate the gifts that Lira had brought to their lives. They learned to cherish the beauty of diversity, realizing that it was not a curse but a strength that enriched their existence. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden glow over Silverstream, Lira stood on the shore, watching the waves lap gently at her feet. Beside her, Mira smiled, pride shining in her eyes. "You have done well, my daughter," she said, her voice filled with love. "You have truly embraced who you are." Lira turned to her mother, a radiant smile gracing her lips. "I could not have done it without you, Mother. Your love gave me the strength to be who I am." With a heart full of gratitude and a spirit unbound, Lira stood at the intersection of two worlds, one foot in the ocean, the other on the land. She had discovered not only her identity, but also the power of love and understanding, bridging the divide that once threatened to tear them apart. As the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the sea, Lira knew that her journey was just beginning. With the ocean as her ally and her mother by her side, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that together, they could create a world where differences were celebrated and love reigned supreme.